What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of Spoiler Alert. I'm Chan V. Got the number right this time, guys. Man.
Yeah, last episode he's like, it's number 18. I was like, 18? I was like, we've done more than 18. I feel like
the last 7 were so bad. I just, decided to remove them from my memory.
Guys, time with you is just like super slow.
Exactly. What's up, Ello? What's up, Diction?
Nothing much, man. Feeling a little under the weather, but other than that, I'm good. Kind of a sad morning though. I was supposed to stream some Prey, which is a new game. Okay. Yeah, it's by Bethesda, I'm pretty sure, but it's like an alien shooter game. And
it's like a barely related like reboot, I guess. To Prey. It's supposed to be a sequel, but nothing I've seen has really linked it to the first Prey game.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be out on both consoles this morning. Xbox One, it came out and it was fine, but for PS4, which is what I use, it wasn't live until it's live now, like the demo is now, but it wasn't earlier in time for my stream, so I was kind of bummed. But we're doing it tomorrow, so doing it tomorrow, but I was just kind of like meh this morning. Because it was like supposed to be like a sponsor stream and stuff. So
what kind of game is it? Is it like a hunter?
It looks very like futuristic Bioshocky. Like you can, you can tackle situations in a lot of different ways with different powers and weapons and stuff. Yeah, it looks cool. Honestly, I wasn't too thrilled just because the original Prey 2. The first time I went to PAX, it was 2011. They had a stage demo of Prey 2 where you were an interstellar bounty hunter. It was first person. There was parkour. Big open like areas and these massive alien space stations. You'd chase dudes down, you'd like grab them, interrogate them and stuff, and they would like look back at the camera and swear at you and cuss you out and shit. Like it looked so fucking good. And then it went dark, and then like years went by, and they were like, it's not canceled. It's not canceled. Yeah, it's canceled. Sorry. And then this came out, and then they rebranded it and rebooted it as this new game.
Oh, yeah,
it's one of those like non-linear games where, like Diction said, you can approach situations in multiple different ways. You can solve problems in different ways. It should also be noted that apparently, and I don't know if this is in the demo or not, but apparently you can absorb powers. You can like absorb powers from the different aliens and get their like abilities. But it said that it comes with a cost, and I don't know what cost that is. Because
all I know is
it costs $5.
It costs Alien absorption DLC.
Damn, I'm out of money. This sucks.
All I know is you can turn into a coffee mug if you want to and roll around the map as a coffee mug. So it's prop hunt. AAA version of prop hunt.
Trying to figure out what situation I don't want to be a coffee mug.
Well, no, it's like say you want to get into a room, but it's locked off. But there's like a little one of those little slits, like you're talking to a teller at like a movie theater.
Yeah.
And you see a coffee mug. You can go through the little slit, become the coffee mug, and then purpose yourself as a person again.
Okay.
Kind of like I'm trying to teleport, essentially.
Did you say I'm trying to think of a situation where I wouldn't want to be a coffee mug? Is that what you said? Like
I want people to drink out of me, dude.
Yeah. Awesome. I long to always be a coffee mug.
I want to be the mug that says "World's Best Dad."
Yeah. I want like world's 47th best dad. Like that's still pretty good.
47. Where'd you take that number from?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just some random number. Like even like world's like 127th best dad. It's like it's still a pretty good dad, right? Because there's billions of fathers out there, millions.
Dads out there,
yeah. So if you're like number 127, you're kicking ass, right? You don't have to be number one.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Like even like top 10,000 is pretty good.
Oh man,
it's still a pretty damn good dad.
That's true. All right, guys. Lord. Well, why don't we bring it back to what we normally do on the show, which is we talk about movies, TV shows, animes, comics, and we get a chance to dive into it. And this week we're doing Cloverfield, or the movie.
Wait, what's going on with you? What's going on with you this last week?
Oh,
nothing with you, Chan?
Nothing. What's going on?
You're just a boring old man.
No, just doing the shows. This is always my last show of the week, so that's why I'm always
really?
in such a good mood.
I'm sorry.
Going into no, I'm sorry. What do you mean?
Now we know why he put such a little effort into it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh man!
He's like, this is my last show. This is my I don't care show.
No, this is where it's just like, okay, I can just let loose and do whatever and know that I don't have to get back on camera ever, like until Tuesday comes around again.
After this, the weekend starts.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, outside of my stream, but yeah. So not too much. I'm looking forward to watching Guardians this weekend, which we probably won't do on the show until I don't know, maybe in a couple weeks.
This weekend?
I think is it this weekend or
no? It's next week.
Oh, is it next weekend? Oh, my friend in Europe gets to watch it right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing all these people and fucking tweeting, being like, "Guardians is so good." I'm like, "Go fuck yourself."
That's right.
Well, it's like Europe.
The next
Europe
weekend
always gets like movies before us, but we always get games before them.
Yeah,
so like when it comes to games, it's like fuck you, And then good movies come out.
Why can't they just release stuff at the same time? Like I don't understand that.
Weird global marketing bullshit.
Okay.
Well, Chan, we're all rotating on an axis, and the world.
Okay, 6 hours. Okay, I'll give them 6 hours or 10 hours. But why the hell does it have to be, days? Days.
I've been watching The Leftovers again because the new season started. Right. It's also we should do that show at some point. It's fucking amazing. But like the new season, there's stuff that takes place in Australia, right? So the concept of the show is that like on October 14th, like 3 years prior, there was a sudden departure. Just like 2 million people around the world just vanished into thin air.
Right.
And so they always reference October 14th as the Memorial Day of the departures. And then in the new season, they're talking about it on the news in Australia, and it's like October 15th, and I'm like, oh fuck, right, it was the 15th for them. And it blew my mind. I'm like, oh shit, I totally forgot. Australia's way the fuck ahead of us in time. That's crazy.
Yeah, which is actually the future, guys.
The future. Exactly.
Yeah, they're actually in the future. I didn't really think about this, but all these, something should be mentioned. All these shows have new seasons coming out.
Yep, they do.
Just tons of them. And I didn't really consider this as a side effect of the show that we do, this podcast. But as we've covered shows over the year, that we've done this, it's gotten really hard to keep up with everything. Like
isn't it? It's so
like the
like Fargo
has like
again,
a whole new Fargo,
oh
The Expanse. Like I'm wanting to keep up with all these shows that we've done.
American Gods is coming out too, so the new based on the Neil Gaiman book. Oh my god, it's getting like rave reviews. Like it's the best new show on TV.
My mom was talking to me about that book like a while ago.
I didn't finish it yet. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like probably like a third of the way in, but it's fucking incredible. It's such a good book.
That's what she said.
So good.
Yeah, she. That's what she said. That's literally what she said. That's literally what my mom said. That's my mom, Jan. That's my mom.
That is an awesome mom joke there.
She's a saint. You leave her alone. No, she actually did say that in the car. No, she told me all about it, and I was like, oh, it sounds pretty good, whatever. But like since I guess that was about a year ago, and since then I've been hearing little things here and there about like a show, and then maybe a movie, and this person mentioned it. So I'm pretty excited because usually when you get that kind of buzz, you hear that just that little bit of buzz, and it's a consistent buzz in your ear, especially when it's a book, kind of becoming a movie or a show. It's actually pretty exciting because that means it's probably got some real chops. So yeah, I'm excited about it. But yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping up.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. Like the same thing with Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire was out for years and years and years before they contemplated it as a show, but it was just so good. The writing was so good and spectacular that they finally made it. But it's the same story there. Like people would be like, "Oh, you have to read A Song of Ice and Fire, Song of Ice and Fire, blah blah blah." Then you start seeing a few video games pop up or a board game or this and that, and then all of a sudden it's this huge show, and Game of Thrones is unstoppable. So it's going to be exciting to see, and especially with Game of Thrones. It's exciting because it kind of paved the way for other people to kind of take that leap of faith, because it can be hard sometimes for people trying to make money to invest in a book, in film, because typically they don't do well. Everybody's always like, it's never as good as unless there's something huge like Harry Potter. I'm on a rant, but it doesn't. It's cool. It's exciting.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, it's hard to keep up with all these fucking shows now. I'm like, I'm looking at The Expanse, and I'm just like, oh my god, I got a whole fucking season of this to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. I just basically wait until we do it on the show to really catch up, or at least I don't keep up with the shows as much anymore, just because, like you said, this is like the golden age of TV. So there's so many really series. Like I mean, even if I were to watch everything week to week, it would be hard for me to even refresh myself each week when the next episode comes out, because there's become
like one of those things where feature film directors are like kind of giving up on making movies and they're just doing TV because
it's long form.
It's long. It pays well. It's more frequent. The work is more frequently. Like if you make a movie, that's like 2 years of your life that you got to dedicate to a movie. Whereas you could do like 6 different TV series in that time if you wanted to, and really put your stamp on a show.
You can cancel them too if they're not going well. Where a movie, it's like, well, there goes $100 million.
So, yeah, we're halfway through production. Shit's not going well. We got to fucking power through it, man.
Exactly. It's like Fantastic Four style, right? Really, really. When you know it's going to be bad and you still got to finish it and release.
Yeah, but that's the question. Can Fantastic Four be good? Like, is it possible?
Yeah,
is it possible to be good? I've never liked Fantastic Four personally, but
they'd like
still be good. I mean,
they're the one like superhero like family or group or whatever that's like it's hard to update them. They're just kind of stuck in that goofy 60s like where they're the Silver Age of Marvel or something like.
Yeah,
and it's like Spider-Man's been able to adapt to like different time periods and looks and different Peter Parkers and shit like that. You really do that with Fantastic Four. They're just kind of a goofy bullshit family,
Well, they kind of tried. I mean, we're not doing Fantastic Four today.
I've watched the new movie twice because I was fucking baffled at how terrible it was. I could not believe it could be that fucking bad compared to the Chris Evans version.
There's one Fantastic Four fan like in the chat right now, just fucking seething at us. Like,
there's no way. There's not a single Fantastic Four fan that liked that last movie.
No, there's gotta be one.
There's gotta be one.
And I want to meet him.
I want to meet him.
Because it's like, how delusional are you?
All right.
Maybe if they tried it as a TV series, like it would work a little bit better.
I don't know. I don't mind the serious kind of thing that they tried to take, but I don't know. The casting was just bad. I mean, the people they chose to play them it was weird. It was a weird.
It also
decision.
It didn't have a story structure. It had one long 90-minute first act and then 10 minutes of the third act. It was
I know, right?
Baffling. Like, how the fuck do you write a movie like that? It makes no sense.
All right, just throwing it out there. I love hold on, Chan.
Okay, you just don't want to talk about the
I do. But give me. I just want to throw one more thing out there. Okay, just one more. It's important.
Okay.
It's part of what we do. If you haven't been on M. Night Shyamalan's Twitter,
if you haven't
been on his Twitter,
let me see. Okay, this is worth it.
All right, this is worth it. If you haven't been on there yet,
let me see.
You might want to get on there because his new movie was revealed, and it has to do a lot with what we've talked about on here with Split. Yes. And spoiler, even though we do this on the show, those spoilers, and we already covered Split, just in case. Mute now if you haven't watched Split and you don't want shit ruined for you. Mute now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Glass.
So they're doing the movie Glass, and it is going to be the follow-up from Unbreakable and Split, and that is going to be his new movie. And people are coming back to reprise the role, like Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis. It's gonna be insane.
Amazing. If it's called Glass, if it's called Glass, and does that mean it's the Empire Strikes Back version of this series where he's going to get the better end of the stick on this one?
I don't know, man. I just want to see.
It's got potential because I recently rewatched Unbreakable after seeing Split, and it's like it's good. My problem with it is that the big twist at the end should have happened at the end of the second act.
We talked about this already.
Instead of the very end. So there could have been more, done being a fucking superhero type shit. But it was still good. But now they're making a third movie or whatever, or a 2.5 movie. They can make a whole movie of that. It's like, we know he's got powers. He's discovered them. He's aware of them. Now he can just fucking fight an enemy, and like, that's fucking cool.
What happens when Bruce Willis' character touches the Beast guy with 13 different personalities? Does he pick up information on all of them or one continuous memory?
Because
right. Good one. Ooh,
I mean, his power that he sees the bad.
It's
well,
it's
who
he is
the
at the
bad
moment.
things that every single one of them has done, right? But they all are the same person. So what if that fucks his like mind up or something? You know,
I'm telling you, man, I'm excited.
Cool.
It's very seldom that you actually like we've been wanting a sequel for Unbreakable for forever.
Yes.
Like I mean, since it's been out, I mean, it's pretty much what he set up for. You know, what he set it up for. So it's just nice to see that all coming to fruition. You know. So anyways, I thought it was worth mentioning. We can now talk about Cloverfield.
All right. So this week we're supposed to be talking about Cloverfield, guys. But we're just doing a run through of a lot of things, which is just cool. It's definitely always great to start that way. But yeah, this week we're going to be doing a bit of a flashback to a movie that came out 9 years ago now. Yeah, it's 2008, right? So 9 years ago. And for those of you who haven't gotten a chance to watch it, we're just going to be diving into it. Just so, spoiler alert, mute your Twitch player if you don't want to listen.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies. Yeah.
That's one of the few movies where that's the actual spoiler. It's like, yeah, everyone fucking dies.
Except for the
not only does everyone die, but everyone dies in the pursuit of like Japanese, like a Japanese Pepsi flavor.
What?
You guys didn't know that, did you?
What?
You guys
is there? It's okay. What's the name?
It's okay. We'll keep talking about this.
Is freedom a Japanese Pepsi flavor?
Dude, now Dixon's looking it up.
The name of the girl that.
No.
I had like a thing set up of how I was going to sum up the plot of this movie.
No, okay, do it.
If I can be so brash. Okay.
Do it.
No, okay. Rich, yuppie, pretty boy gets his friends killed trying to save a girl he boned one time.
That's exactly what it is.
It's his dream girl, though. You missed the dream girl part.
Dream girl that he boned one time.
I don't know, man. There's some.
He boned her and he took her to Coney Island. That's
it's a magical vajayjay, dude. Magical vajayjay.
There are some vaginas out there I would sacrifice you guys for. I'm sorry. No, so it's not even okay. So you almost want to say that it's an alien attack, right? But it's not even really an alien attack. Earth is under attack by a monster that was deep in the ocean, and it ravages Manhattan while these people try to get out of there. But the reason I sort of kind of pushed for this movie just because I thought it was interesting in the way that it was filmed. Because there was a lot of controversy actually over the handheld camera point of view, which isn't used very often in film and was sort of made popular by Blair Witch. Like, I don't know.
It's usually horror movies that use it. Yeah, it's a lot scarier if the fucking, the witch is coming right at your face rather than at a character that's in a frame.
And this is the style that gets a lot of people sick too. Some people can't even handle it.
Sickness,
It does. There were a lot of cases of people leaving the theaters when it first came out, because especially on the big screen, people were getting sick by watching it. I, however, never felt sick, or I didn't feel anything close to motion sickness at all.
I don't get motion sickness, so I was like, I was fine. I was
fine.
But at the same time, I did not blame those people, because honestly, like my biggest problem with it is like, it's not so much the shaky cam, but it's like, it's already like you're not fooling anyone. A giant monster didn't destroy New York. We would have seen that on the news. Like, it's like we're not buying into the realism. Yeah. So you don't have to make the camera work that shitty. Like, you could stabilize it and people would still be like, all right, I'm watching a monster movie from the point of view of some dipshit with a camera, It was like they went way too far with it, and I feel like it had to do with the budget, like the amount of effects they could actually afford to show. But even scenes where they're just like walking through the street, it's like it's just like,
yeah,
dude,
it was worse. It was.
I get it, you're afraid, but like,
from a shaky standpoint, it was worse than Blair Witch, in my opinion. I mean, Blair Witch, there was always the force, but for the most part, the camera was up. During a lot of.
Well, yeah, they were professional filmmakers, or they're supposed to be at least.
Yeah,
like documentary.
With this one, there's a lot where it's just shooting towards the ground and for no reason too. It's not, there's some parts where he puts the camera down and it's like, sure, okay, that happens. Or like some, the soldier like makes him put it down. So I understand that.
Yeah,
like you said, walking through the street, there were definitely a lot of times where there's no reason for the camera to be down or just like literally panning all over the place like he was.
Yeah.
But
that being
arguably,
said, it was well choreographed though. Like
it
was well choreographed. Like he shot the stuff that they wanted the audience to see, which was funny. Like to me.
Yeah, the argument here is that it probably wouldn't have gotten as much acclaim or popularity as it did if it hadn't been so freeform. And they really stuck to the freeform. So I agree with you guys. Like those cuts where they're waving it around and looking up or looking down and stuff. It's kind of annoying, but at the same time, I think it lent itself to the feel of realism of somebody actually just running with a camera in the town. Mm-hmm. I don't think that style really shows itself like the good parts of why you would do that until they get down to the street area, right? And that's when they see the head get thrown into the street, and then
that was a crazy
the building.
Scene,
yeah, it's a crazy scene. The acting in this, I'll be honest, is like shit, especially at the beginning. I think it gets a little bit better as they go and things get more chaotic. But at the beginning, when they're setting up the party and they're trying to seem like they're being good friends to him and everything, that whole weird, it seems to me, I've always felt like that's the weakest part of the movie. It's always seemed so. It seems like a bunch of actors together trying to make this shit.
It was to your point. I couldn't even tell what the relationships were between everybody in the beginning because of how bad the acting was. Not to mention the two brothers kind of looked alike. So it took me a second to realize that, that was the guy that was sleeping with the girl in the beginning, and and what's going on?
Wait,
they're breaking.
Are you trying to say that all white people look alike?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to
say. Jesus shit! I thought we were over this stigma.
I know.
Oh my God, man!
Every day with you,
the stigma, man. The stigma.
No, but
it took a second for me to actually understand even what was going on with the plot, because the acting wasn't the greatest, and even just the casting of it. The brothers, I couldn't tell who was with who. Like who was dating who in the beginning, and then after it became much more clear once, the girl left. That one girl walked out the door, and then it was just like, oh, okay, and that one guy is upset about it or whatever, and then I started getting it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of confusing, I think, because they have that one girl who's just like the friend, she's the pretty, the pretty girl that just she's not.
This girl she's not
Lizzie Kaplan.
She is with the one brother, but she's she's just a friend of his. But they almost seem so close that there could be there could be something there, that kind of thing. But anywho, my point is that once we get down to the road though, when the building falls and the dust comes and they run inside and then they run back outside and everybody's walking around in disbelief and stuff. I thought that was very, very, very well shot. And I thought that for scenes like that, the first person point of view, handheld camera thing is fucking insane. I remember the first time I watched that and I was like, fuck, man, that is crazy. I was kind of thinking about 9/11 and how it must have been to people on the street level when that shit went down. Damn, that's a crazy picture of the monster.
I think it's edited a bit, but
of course, that's not from the film, no. But it is a good picture of it because you get kind of just a whatever. But anyways, I especially wanted just to cover just because of the camera, the camera, and how interesting that is, and kind of the take on it. It is sort of horror, but it's more thriller, action, and
it's a big monster. It's a disaster pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Monster kaiju movie.
Yeah, but the acting not so great. But I feel like as the film went on, the acting gets better. As things start to kind of, once they go into the subway and. Oh God, man! I was looking at these pictures. I felt so bad because I love what's her name, Lizzie
Kaplan.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Kaplan, whatever. God, what a hottie! She's in a lot of shit. She is a hottie. I don't know why.
If you want to, not a lot of people say that Lizzie Kaplan is a hottie, but okay.
If you watch Masters of Sex, you'll see a lot of Lizzie Kaplan.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
And I have just the right parts.
Just the right. Fast forward through all the good parts.
I've never seen the show, but I've seen the show. That and True Blood. She's in True Blood too, man.
Yeah, she's a great actress. Yeah.
Did you know that she was in Mean Girls?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Dude, she's one of the main characters. She's the goth girl or the
but a lot of people forget. A lot of people forget that she was.
She's wearing really specific makeup in that, and then she in real life she doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah. No, you guys don't think she's hot? You guys don't think she's attractive?
Yeah, I think she's cool, but I think a lot of people wouldn't classify her as hot though.
Really? I think she's got like a unique.
She got the Emma Stone hot thing going, you know, like
she's like girl next door hot.
Except for Ella doesn't like Emma Stone at all though.
Yeah. So guy voice and
what?
I don't know. Emma Stone's voice is like very like.
It is low. It's definitely
she has a deep voice.
She has a deep voice.
I like her. She's charming.
Hi, I'm Emma Stone.
Jesus Christ.
No, that
maybe
is
after a
not
couple packs.
So let me ask you guys before we get into like, you know, what exactly happens in the movie. What do you guys think the story of this movie is? Especially Chan, because Diction.
The story. I mean,
yeah.
What do I think they wanted us to feel versus what we actually felt?
No. I'm saying, like, what is your theory as to like the monster?
Oh, the monster. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So did they ever say? I mean, was there any, place that actually referenced it coming from the deep, or?
Yes.
Okay.
If you, at the very, very end, after everything goes to shit and it cuts back to the original tape of them, like going to Coney Island on the train.
Mm-hmm.
If you look in the background when he's filming her, something falls into the ocean.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
The idea is that it fell and it hit Clovey down there and woke him up. And then a few days later or a week later, he makes his way up to the surface. And according to J.J. Abrams, they actually like put a lot of thought into like the monster and what it is. I said it's a baby. It's actually a baby monster, and it's having a tantrum. So it's not like Godzilla, where Godzilla has a purpose on Earth, like it's protecting Earth from these other monsters that are here to fuck up the ecosystem. This is just straight up like a rampant child puppy, essentially, that gets fucking pissed off, and then it's scared in this new environment, being shot at and stuff. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason to the things it does. It's just doing it because it's an animal.
Okay,
which I thought was really cool. I like that. I think that's a really cool idea for a monster. That's just he's just confused and pissed off, and these buildings are in his way, and like, oh fuck, what do I do? Like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the character development for the monster was
monster has more character development than any other character in the movie, like human character.
No, I think that was a cool way to do it. Originally, I thought it was an alien, but the more and more it was happening, I would the alien thing was not crystal clear. And then there were the little baby spawns too, right? I didn't quite understand those. Yeah,
those are louse.
What are
we can get hair lice, like parasites.
Really?
The fish, like whales have lice actually.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's
so it's to scale. That would be the size of the lice for a monster that size, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So he's just basically like part whale.
Part whale.
He's got.
You ever see someone's theory of the Cloverfield monster before the movie was even, like after they teased it with the teaser? Okay.
What the one that actually looks like a whale, like a humpback?
Yeah, with legs and shit. That was fucking cool.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna look it up now.
Where is
it? I remember that. Yeah, it was like Cloverfield monster revealed ? Yeah.
Here, I put in the chat right there.
Right.
Even the dude even put like the lice and stuff. Like the size of lice to the human and shit like that.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's actually not. I mean, the idea was not far off of having like kind of like an ocean lice thing on the monster, which I feel is like one of the craziest attributes of the monster itself. Because when he's sitting there, like that scene where he's sitting there and he kind of just like shakes. And then like all the little monsters hit and like scramble off and start killing people and shit. Like I remember, like I said, in the theater, I was watching that and I was like, oh, they're so fucked. Like they're fucked.
Yeah. Well, the lice was fucking them up more than the big guy was for a while.
Yeah. And it's like, it goes into the question, like, is that a completely different species of monster? Or is that something just like in deep ocean life? Or is that like a smaller version of the monster? Like, are those little babies? You
ever see those things? I forget what they're called. They're called like septopods or something pods, but they look like giant roly polies, right? Or horseshoe crabs.
Yes,
and they're parasites, right? So what they do is they get inside the mouths of fish and their tongues and they replace their tongues.
They replace their tongues?
They sit there and they pretend to be the tongue. Yeah, they just sit there munching on them from the inside, and the fish doesn't notice it's happening.
Yeah.
And they actually made a movie called The Bay, which is another found footage kind of movie, where like those start infecting the water in this like a New England town, and they get inside people, and it's fucked up. It's creepy. It's really creepy. But like they can grow up to be like 3 feet long, like huge, massive. At the bottom of the ocean. Dude, the ocean's fucking fascinating.
I know.
It's terrifying. It's fascinating.
If you get a chance to go on Netflix and watch like Planet Blue or whatever, and watch like episode to episode, Blue Planet. That's it. Yeah, fucking hell, that is terrifying. Do you know there are like lakes under the ocean?
Oh like, from gases that form. So it looks like a lake just sitting there and shit.
Wow.
Yeah. If you go deep enough in the ocean, you can get what looks like a beach and
they actually had that in SpongeBob. Remember the beach?
Wait. So there's
that's like what that's supposed to be.
Wait. There's dry area that's like a beach, or do you mean
it's not dry?
Okay.
It's the way that it looks is like a lake because the density or whatever of the like the calcium deposits that are coming from the middle of or the center of the earth. It like causes a certain sort of chemistry which causes the liquid to separate. God, I am not a scientist, but I think that's pretty much.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it.
It's essentially vapor clouds in the bottom of the ocean, but when you look at it, it looks like it's a separate water formation.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yeah. It looks like you're almost gonna have to like dive into another thing of water. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
It's weird.
It's another world.
Yeah, it is. And when you get down, like really down into the deep, I mean, there's parts of the ocean that are still yet unexplored. It's probably
we've explored like 1% still.
Yeah,
I think it's been 1% for.
There are dinosaurs down there, man.
There might be. You know, who the fuck knows what's down there? I think it's an interesting thing to take to take into a movie, and you can't imagine that right off of Coney Island, it's too deep out there, right? Like it's not even like the depths that we're necessarily talking about.
That's true. There's no fault or anything that's there that takes you down into the crazy depths of the ocean.
Yeah, that and like cave systems are some of the only unexplored places on Earth, you know. So there's a lot of creatures and stuff in those places that we don't know much about.
Or wherever the fuck Bigfoot's hanging out, we still haven't found him.
yeah, that too. But parasites are a funny thing, especially because like the one that replaces the tongue. There's parasites that jump into bugs and cause them to drown themselves and like mind control. There's all sorts of crazy shit.
You ever see the snails? The parasite gets in its eyes and it looks like a fucking trippy kaleidoscope of colors and shit. And it's like a zombie. It zombifies it, so it like it's.
Or like the ants.
Nature, you crazy.
Or
you guys are scaring
me. The spores, like spores that like get into ants and cause the ants to climb to the highest point, and then they die, and then the spore like grows off of them. It's fucking crazy. All these things are like
what? Oh wow.
Yeah, like this one particular.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, it's fucking there's
awesome.
Shit out
really
there.
Cool.
There's crazy shit out there. Watch some fucking nature.
Darwinism is awesome. Exactly.
But anyways, I always find it interesting when they kind of delve into these weird places like the unexplored, because nobody can say for 100% that a creature like this isn't down in the ocean. Nobody can say that 100%. Now, 99.99999%. Yes, okay, of course, it's not down there, you know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it isn't, you know, like that. There's still a chance. You know,
it would have to be something like a giant squid that doesn't need air to breathe, doesn't need to surface like sperm whales do.
You know, what'd be cool is if they made it so that he was blind. Given that, you know, in the depths of the ocean, it's completely dark down there, so there's no perception of light or anything like that. So it'd be kind of cool.
Use echolocation.
Yeah, he could use echolocation. That's true. He could use that. But I mean, his eyes would be worthless, right? I mean, like if your eyes have never seen light, then if you were to see light for the first time, there's no way you would see what we see.
Well, then the argument is that there was no light in this movie. It was all done at night until the morning. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
It's
still more light than they have down there.
Listen,
okay.
That could be another reason it's the monsters like having such a shitty time on the surface. It's like all of a sudden you can see things that are normally he wouldn't be able to see. So he's just adjusting to the lights.
Chan, if you're thinking you're gonna have trouble sleeping tonight, let me assure you that if there is any giant monsters under the ocean that we don't know about, by the time they reach the surface, they'd be jelly. Okay, so just know that. Okay, that's why we can't. That's why like one of the biggest reasons we can't explore the deep ocean in the things that are down there.
Oh, it's because of
as soon as we take them to the fresh, as soon as we take them to the surface, they're mud.
They can't do
so
that.
You can't study them. Yeah, so it's okay, Chan. Little Chan can sleep tonight, and it'll be.
Well, what if he doesn't have? What if his bones and his organs are all already jelly, and then he gets up here, it's just a big old blob that can just destroy the city?
Yeah, just like it takes people like a gelatinous cube, like in D&D, it just like turns people to bone and spits them out. Anyways,
back to the movie. One thing that you mentioned that how cool the camera shooting was, where you could get a sense of what it might have been like during 9/11. I mean, it just makes you think about just being in like cities like that, right? I mean, New York, obviously Manhattan is a very specific type of situation, given that it's like it's an island, right? And you really are stuck there. Like trying to get off of Manhattan in a situation like that would be so crazy, and that actually happened. That happened to us, during 9/11, where tens of thousands of people were trying to get off that island, and people were stuck there. I mean, there were definitely people that could not get off, and thankfully, the whole place didn't get blown up. But with something like this, that would be so terrifying. Like, what would you guys do? Like, if there was a monster that was destroying the city, and you were in the middle of, in Midtown in Manhattan, if you guys have ever been there, and you're literally a few blocks from a monster, what are the first thing you're gonna do? Like, are you gonna run the opposite direction? Are you going to go down below into the subway system like they did for a while, or what?
I mean, probably the subway, and just stay there on the well-lit platform and not go into the tunnels and just like wait it out. I guess I would wait it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many options that you have, like you said. I mean, try to get to a bridge and get the fuck out, or hunker down somewhere. And I guess the best place would be underground. You would have to have some supplies and stuff, but I mean, pretty much everything was open up. People were looting and stuff. Not that looting's okay, but if it's for survival, grab a couple gallons of water, grab some mundane food that doesn't expire quickly, and fucking chill until things calm down. Because like, you got to go to the bridge, you're bottlenecked. Depending on the catastrophe, that's not good.
Well, that didn't work, obviously.
Yeah, it didn't work either. But one of the best things about this movie is like the city and how the city reacts to this. It's sort of like disbelief at first. Then then you see like the modern era of technology. Like when the fucking the Statue of Liberty's head flies into the street.
Freaky, man.
Like the first thing that people do after screaming is
start taking pictures and shit.
Start taking pictures of it, but that's I mean, that's what people would do, right? It's like you're
nowadays for sure, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like, your mind isn't wrapped around the fact that you are in a fucked up situation at first. That's why I like it, because it looks like they took attention to detail when it came to the actual reaction of people to what's happening. It's like, even though the immediacy of the fucking head of the Statue of Liberty is flying in front of you down the street, you're still like, let's take pictures of it. Ha ha ha. Like, this is just fucking crazy, that kind of thing. And then then you see the building fall in the background, and people are just watching it going like, oh shit. And then you're seeing the dust coming. And it even takes them a while when the dust is coming towards them for them to go, oh, we should get inside somewhere.
Exactly.
But like, you start to see like people scrambling, people screaming, people, but it takes them a while to get to that point. And that's one of the reasons I like this movie so much, is because it seems so real. Like, once they hit the street, it's like the movie completely changes and it becomes like an actual decent movie. Like, the bad acting aside, like you see all the reactions, and it's just, I'm like, man, if that happened, that's how people would do. Like, that's about as close as you can get to how people would actually react.
Well, let's just talk about TJ's character, right? I mean, he pulls up the camera. He's the person that, keeps saying that people will want to know what happened. And that's how this film is even framed and staged, right? Where the very beginning, it's like, oh, this is classified information, or this is a classified video footage. And it's from, obviously this camera that was shot and they found later, after these people die, and do you think that's the sort of thing that people do right now? I mean, if they were in this kind of situation, they would be filming this thing the entire time?
I don't know if they would be filming it the entire time, but I think that with everybody's cell phones, you would be able to put together
like a collage of things,
a decent enough collage of events for sure. Oh yeah. I think if something like this actually happened, like if a monster went crazy in New York, you would jump online from wherever else in the world and you would be able to gather so much information just from phones uploaded.
That reminds me of is that I have a friend who has always been, this is like a very big topic now, especially with this Trump and fake news and all that stuff, but he's been a very skeptic of just news and the just what's filtered and, all of that kind of, whether it's conspiracy theories or reality, it's really up to you how you feel about it. And, one of the things that they created was a site that was all about people reporting the news that are actually there, so it would be a culmination of, these type of videos that we nowadays we see on social media. But it would be, more of aggregating all of that, collecting all of that and having the people actually report what's going on, versus like these news outlets. So something like this, that would be, it kind of reminds me of that. And just, having news reporting be something like that.
I would be on Philip DeFranco's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I go for news now is good old Philly D, man. I get filled in like most every day just because he seems like a trustworthy, pretty decent guy, and I can't trust the fuck out of anything else. That's for sure. Right. That's been proven over and over again. So, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're headed, anyways. I think honestly, we're gonna get to a point where we just are fuck the media. It's already fuck the media.
At this point, we have the president just saying that the news is fake every single day.
And it is,
whether it's true or not. I mean,
no. But what do you mean whether it's true or not? I mean, there are instances.
There are definitely instances
is left. I mean, there is just blatant amounts of truth that's left out of this stuff. So, and I think that's where exactly where we're going, especially with people like Philly D on YouTube. Now they've got a platform now that hits millions of people, and they're not beholden to anybody. They're not a left, right, anything like that. So I think that's kind of where we're going. Is the rise of popularity in these news on YouTube is because of the distrust in the what would be mainstream media. So I think that's kind of the way we're going. I think that's what would happen here. I think we would get all sorts of feed from it, but of course, we would see things like monster attacks. Liberals are to blame. Like, did liberals mine the thing to start the? You decide. Like,
did they biologically assemble this monster to go and destroy
New York Times
conservatives?
New York Times,
that'd be hilarious.
New York Times and the Washington Post were the first thing they're gonna blame Trump. Like, the monster is Trump's decisions to do this and this the cause of this monster attack. It'd be the number one thing on the front page. But yeah, I like how it goes down there, and I do believe that I think it's a little far-fetched to believe that they would be going into falling buildings and still recording and stuff like that, like he is, for the sake of the film. I think it's a little extreme that this one guy wouldn't just fucking, like, at a certain point in the subway, if people were getting bit and we were attacked by monsters, I probably would have just dropped that phone and ran. The
end was, I mean, I totally agree with that, and I liked how it ended, because it ended with him, but the monster literally 50 yards away from him, and then him running back to get the camera for some dumb reason, right? Like, I mean, there's no way in hell I would go back and get the camera if that monster was so close. And so the fact that he goes back and gets it, and then the monster's just right there, that was like, okay, that's good. That's exactly how TJ's character should die, because he should have died a long time ago. So if he, it was justice for me, or at least it made the movie a little bit more, or a little bit better, because of the way he died.
What's also kind of interesting about this is this was kind of the beginning of some of these people's careers, like in film. Like Lizzie, she had Mean Girls right before this, but this honestly kind of pushed her ahead a little bit and got her other roles. Lizzie,
really? Wow.
Kaplan, yeah. And did you notice who the cameraman was?
Yeah, TJ. right?
Yeah, from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, from everything. I mean, from
Deadpool,
from everything. He's everywhere now.
From everything. I mean, TJ's like
Deadpool and shit.
Yeah. He looks so
exactly.
young. Oh my gosh, when they showed him, I'm like, oh my god, it was. I guess it was 9 years ago, but man, he's changed. He's so
maybe there's
thin.
Yeah, he was. His face was very like sharp, like chiseled. It was like, dang man, like he was right out of fraternity, a little fresh college student or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy to see him like that. But I think I don't know. I'm sure he's got movie credits before this.
Let me see.
But this one I believe was kind of what pushed him sort of ahead too, and got him.
Yeah, it was his first one of his first gigs. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it was actually kind of the stepping stone for some of these people as far as like as far as their career is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I just thought that. So Chan, so what's the theory, Chan? So Diction said it was a underwater monster because of the satellite. What do you think? Do you have any other theories? Because I'm going to tell you definitively what it is.
Oh, you're going to tell me? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, with the satellite thing, so my feelings was I still felt like it was an alien, like in some ways, and whether it was something falling from the sky that ended up just hatching and coming out, or it was just something that might have been might have fell from the from space or something a long time ago, and then eventually ended up hatching after, I don't know, 100 years or tens of thousands, however many years, right? But it was already on Earth and it hatched. But my feelings the entire time was that it was an alien. So I didn't actually know it was just a sea, just like maybe a sea monster that's just been in the depths of the Earth and somehow made it up, all the way up to the surface and was going crazy like that. So that's what I thought. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously there seems to be, just interviews with J.J. Abrams, and I mean, people know actually what happened or what the origination of it all is. But that's kind of how I felt during the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's what I thought. That's what pretty much everybody thought. Especially at the end when you see the satellite, you think that maybe because you're not really sure, what it is with first time you watch it. Mm-hmm. You might think that it might have had the alien inside of it. Could have been an egg, or could have been something that was sent here from another planet, that kind of thing. But here's the actual story. Okay, the actual story is that a company in Japan was trying to find new flavors for their new soda,
Slusho,
and they dropped a satellite outside of Coney Island to kind of look for this new flavor, to kind of scan the area, and it caused this monster to wake up and attack Manhattan. That is literally, and the company that he was going to go to Japan for is that same company.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Slusho is a thing that's been in Lost and in
Heroes,
other show,
and Alias. It's something that has popped up in a lot of J.J. Abrams things.
I see.
So, like in Heroes, they have Slusho. In Lost, they have Slusho, and in Alias, they have Slusho. So this was all caused over the pursuit of different soda flavors.
What? Okay.
Yes, and it's true. And it's true. That's
all right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the most witty way of tying a lot of these things together, but that is something else.
It's the truth. It's the truth, man. It's the truth. That, like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh man, it's an alien. It came down from whatever, blah, blah, you see in the back. And then it's like, you come to find out that, yeah, it was just done because we want different flavors in the things we drink. It's like, send a monster. But yeah, it's not from anywhere. It's not, it's just down deep in the ocean. And it was bothered by the satellite that was launched by this fucking soda company in Japan.
Okay, so can we just talk about the plot a little bit here, where the guy, you already summed it up, Diction, in your summary of the plot, but let's just talk about the guy who gets a call from the girl that she's bleeding. She's somewhere. She's in her apartment bleeding, right? And he decides just to lose his mind and decides to go or he's so in love, or maybe this is the romantic aspect of it.
He wants to bone her again.
He wants to, he wants to bone her again.
He's thinking with his dick, man.
and he decides to just obviously run towards the monster, and not only run towards the monster, veer off, and her apartment complex, or just the building that she lives in, is knocked over and is leaning against another building that is upright. And for some reason, he decides, he doesn't even know if she's alive or not at this point, because the call happened, maybe an hour or two ago. And I think if you were bleeding out, an hour or two, you're dead, So
she's impaled on rebar.
Yeah, I know. And she was impaled on rebar. So they go
for hours and hours of them trying to get to her.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Would you scale buildings like that for any girl that's not your wife? That's not the mother of your children. That's just some girl. Maybe it's your dream girl. Let's just at least put it out there. It's your dream girl.
If it's your dream girl, then it would be better than your wife, right?
Oh my God. Where's Cora? Is Cora in the chat?
Wait, you mean the girl that we hoped to be with, not the ones we settled for?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
I love you, Cora. If you're watching, I'm just kidding. I love you. You're the
I
one
don't
that
agree at
me.
all, babe. If you're watching this with him.
You're the one that settled for me. I love you. Okay, so here's the thing, though. Love is love, and feelings and all that stuff is whatever your experience is, right? So, like when you're a teenager, the first time you feel love, you have any kind of feelings, you think it's love, right? Or it's the closest thing to, so you perceive it as being love. But as you get older and older, you look back at your other relationships and you think, what a fool, what an idiot. How could I have thought that I had loved that person? So in an immediate situation, and being, a young person, I and especially with Disney movies and, how much we glamorize the romance and falling in love and shit like that, I can see where somebody would do something like this just because that's the way that they feel at the time. Now, if you were to go into 50-year-old whatever this guy's name is, I can't remember, from the movie, and you're like, hey man, was it worth it going back and he's like, hell no, she went off with some other guy and had 3 kids, and I was so and so now, and that's the reality of it, right? But here's the thing. The only thing that justifies that scene to me is, how could you listen could you listen to a clip of the person that you care about the most? Could you listen to a clip of them suffering or in trouble, begging you for help, and you abandon them? Could you do that? Could you actually, even under those circumstances, yes, the buildings collapse, I agree, but at the very least, I think you should go. I think some people would go to the actual apartment. Maybe when they see it leaned over against another fucking building, they're like, "Oh fuck this," there's no way she's still up there and still alive. But you would, I think there are some people out there that would at least go to the location to try. I think some people would try.
And on top of that, he felt responsible for her, being there too. I think that part of the plot, okay, that helped a little bit, but still, I think if you're in a situation like that, and we all have this thing in our brains that, the fight or flight type of, mechanism in our brain. And whenever a monster is attacking a city like that, I don't know. I feel like self-preservation is going to be hugely affecting me.
How do you fight that thing?
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how I would even. You'd literally have to go towards this giant fucking Godzilla monster.
What if you climbed it? Because it would think you're just another lice and it wouldn't care.
How to train a kaiju.
I played a lot of Shadow. I played a lot of Shadow of the Colossus, so I know how to use my grip meter and everything.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, if we have Shadow of the Colossus character, here we could just scale it and talk to it and shit. Well, here's the thing: is that not everybody is built the same, and we have people that like SWAT and Delta, and even just cops in general. That when bad things are happening, they're running towards it and not away from it.
Well, that's
the general population.
That's their job. Though.
Yeah, but even if it's but the reason it's their job is because innately a lot of those people feel that when something bad is happening, they want to help. They want to be there. I mean, look at 9/11. 9/11 happened is a great example. Shit happened, and there were people that weren't cops, that weren't firefighters, that weren't EMT or medical personnel that wanted to help and ran in to help. There's plenty of instances of complete strangers that have a variety of different careers that ran towards the buildings and tried to help people out of the rubble and all that stuff. So there are people out there with a very special mentality. It doesn't mean that their survival instincts aren't still there. It's just their capacity and empathy to help people is more important. So, and they're able to rise above that. So I get what you're saying. And like I said, 9 out of 10 people totally agree with you, but there are those one that 1 out of 10 that would run into a burning building to save somebody, whether it was their job or not, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you though. Again, it comes to me with the leaning tower, like, if I get there and that bitch is leaning over, I'm like, man, we're gonna walk up there. And
on top of that,
one little trimmer, and the shit's gone.
On top of that, okay, the guy, all right, he's in love with the girl. He feels responsible. I can maybe accept that. Okay, I can understand that. But these two friends, oh yeah, I feel like I gotta come with you too for some dumb ass reason. Hell fucking no, dude. You go and rescue that girl. I mean, the girl's not that important to me.
Well, it's good to know that you have my back, Chan. It's good to know that you have my back.
Oh man.
We get there and Chan's like, I'm going in. I'm gonna go help her. Chan's like, all right, I'll wait here, man.
I'll keep the engine warm for you, buddy.
I'll film from here. Yeah. Good luck in there. I'm rooting for you. I agree. It gets a little crazy with how dedicated he gets to filming all of this, even in the pursuit of. He says people are going to want to watch this. Yeah, sure. But you have to understand that there's like 1,000 other cameras out there on cell phones that are probably picking. I don't know why he felt it was his responsibility as the sole, video capturer of this. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think the premise gets a little silly in the execution just based on, what's presented to them. But they got to make a movie too.
Yes, of course.
It's like it's not just gonna be like we run to Manhattan Bridge, we get across it, and we're in safety, and we watch from a newsroom. Like what happened. So, but yeah, I agree. It's not, it's definitely a weird part of definitely a weird part of the that you just kind of got a suspension of disbelief a little bit. But I agree with you. I definitely agree with you at the end of the day. That shit's cray.
You alluded to Lizzie Kaplan, and just like how a little bit as to how she died, but how about that, man? How about having you just explode after you saved TJ? You get stabbed or you get attacked by the little lice guy, and that injury ends up, I guess, getting some of his ooze or his blood into her system, and then she just explodes.
I guess what's kind of, like I said earlier, what's kind of interesting about this is because it was ambiguous with, the monsters and the parasites, where they come from, all that stuff. That's one of the more exciting things about it, I think, is that not a lot was explained. Why do they explode when they're bit? Is it the infection of the bite, or it could simply be just contact with them at all? Like any touching of these creatures could cause swelling and shit like that, or even was it necra, whatever it is that like causes your body to rot and bloat, like something like that. Now, I don't think it's as extreme as what we saw in the fucking movie, but like I think that's one of the interesting parts of it. Like that was fucking surprising. First of all, I didn't think
that was very surprising.
I didn't think they were going to kill her in such a crazy fashion. I mean, when you look at those gashes on her shoulder, they look bad. Like they look fucking bad.
Yeah, that was good makeup.
The makeup, the makeup. I got to get like 100% to the makeup on that one. I remember looking at those wounds and just being like, oh god, that looks like it fucking hurts. But then she starts, the bleed from the nose.
When your eyes start bleeding, you're in trouble. Or when the character's eyes are bleeding, they're going to die in the next minute. I guarantee you that.
Yep.
Look at that.
It's like ears, eyes, genitalia, but like blood coming out of anywhere from the inside is not a good sign. You're bleeding inside, and it's not good. But yeah, I that definitely surprised me. I thought, and I liked it. I liked that. I liked that the director was willing to kill off what was seemingly an important character, in the cast, and viciously, viciously, without abandon or even sort of reason other than to propel the character of HUD. But even then, he ends up dying. It's like it's kind of George R.R. Martin in that sense that he just pretty much kills off everybody. I mean, even Beth and what's his name. At the end, he says, I love you, Beth. And then, you're presumed the next thing that happens is, they die. But that's cool too. The aftermath. Let's talk about the aftermath a little bit. What do you think happened in the aftermath? That's left up too, because, okay, we're watching this as a military recording, right? Like it kind of gives that sense this is a secret recording. This is something that is whatever. Is the battle still continuing? And they've got that as research. Is it over? And this is just simply a historical documentation. But if it was, then why is it in the hand? Why are we watching in the hands of the military? Why would the director show us that it's a military tape? Maybe was this covered up? Did they just say, "Oh, none of that really happened"?
How do you cover up New York being destroyed? There's just no way to cover that up, right?
Well, not that, you don't cover up New York being destroyed, but, the alien portion of it, sure, you can try, and a lot of people would probably believe you. Think about it. If you were in a completely different city, a completely different country, right? And something happened in New York or Manhattan where it got blown up, something like that, and it comes across, an earthquake hit, and ravaged the city. You wouldn't second guess it, and even if you did, dig deeper into the, try to find this footage of the monster and stuff like that, there would always be a question like, is this real? Is it not real? Like, who can you trust? I mean, that's the media every day. I mean, it's not this extreme, obviously, but the media cover-ups happen all the time. Like shit like this happens all the time.
Yeah.
This would be way too hard. This would be way too hard to cover. Like maybe the media cover-ups, I think, are in more of a controlled environment where, like they can possibly get away with it. With this, there are like tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people that have cell phones, like we said, and are taking pictures and will be, uploading these things via social media or whatever. So they'd have to go and corral all of those things and get rid of them in time, like in a very,
and
very
like there's the
fashion.
people they call that are not in New York that they're like, dude, there's a giant fucking monster walking around. It's like, how do you explain that? How do you explain like mass hysteria? Like everyone hallucinated a monster when it was really a terrorist attack or some shit?
You're right. You're absolutely right. And again, I'm playing devil's avocado a little bit, but if you think about it, though, it doesn't even have to be an immediate cover up, right? It could be a long-term cover up. It could be a historical cover up. I mean, if the military is going to the lengths of trying to procure footage of this monster, it could be argued that over time that they're going to rewrite the history of what happened, and that over time people are going to forget that this even occurred. Like, do you think things went down exactly as they went down as we get them from historians from Alexander days, like things get blown up and things get shrunk down all the time. So yeah, while we all in this era, in this day and age might go, oh yeah, that definitely happened, that monster attack, in 200 years, the military grabs all the footage, keeps the footage underground, sends out school books that say that it was an earthquake. Over time, we could lose the idea that this monster is there. And the argument could be that if people knew that out just in the fucking ocean, anywhere in the ocean, there could be a sleeping goddamn monster that could wake up and ravage the city and destroy everybody and kill everything in such a horrific fashion. Maybe that's something that the populace doesn't want or doesn't need to know. Like that argument too. So it gets interesting when you start thinking about the aftermath of this and why it's actually like military obtained footage or secretive footage. Like your mind can kind of wander and theorize a little bit, which I think lends the film a little bit more of an interesting.
I mean, I think that is possible, but for my theory, at least, what happens at the end is I think they just like napalm the entire place. because they were talking about having to get off in 0600. Otherwise, they're just going to literally blow up the entire island just to kill the monster.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what, at least I was assuming. I'm not sure if the timeline fits that exactly in the movie, but I was assuming at the very end when you see all, just the flame, right, on the camera, that's essentially what happened. And
but you're also assuming that it killed the monster.
Yes, I'm assuming it did.
Yeah, so it's like they could have dropped napalm or even nukes on it. We don't know what that monster's capable of protecting itself from, what kind of carapace it has or anything like that. It's resistances. It could have survived it. It could have. It's a fucking monster. It could do whatever the fucking director wanted it to do. But yeah, they did fucking nuke it, or they did drop bombs on it. That was the end. That's when Beth is. I mean, we're presumed to have Beth and what's his name dead because of it, because of the bombings. Which makes sense, but we don't even know if it killed it. We don't even know if that even stopped it. I would assume it did, but who knows? Who can really say?
We haven't even talked about the marketing of this, so I know that's one of the things, Nick or Diction, you wanted to talk about. Just how brilliant the marketing was.
Interesting. It was really good viral marketing. They basically let the fans do it for them. Essentially, they put that. I remember going to the website. It was the date, the release date. I forget what the release date was, and .com. And there were just a bunch of grainy pictures, and it would get updated every couple of months. And people would just dissect the shit out of the pictures and try to figure out what it was.
ARG style, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why you have things like the Clover monster reveal, like the one, like the whale one, that we looked at earlier. That's why you had that. I remember that. I forgot about that actually. So thank you, Diction, for bringing that up, earlier. But you're right, man. I remember that there was a lot. I mean, people wanted to know what this monster looked like. It was
that was the big thing.
Yeah,
they figured out it was a monster movie pretty early on, and then they wanted to know what it looked like.
Yeah, and I think this was and there were other films and stuff, but I think this was sort of maybe one of the last films where what does the monster look like was super important. You had it in Signs. Signs. It was they keep the monster away from you till the very end of the movie, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, it gives you little clips here or there, or a flash here or a flash there. But now you get movies not that this is a monster movie or anything, but it's an alien movie. The one with Amy Adams in it. Was it Arrival? Yeah, where they pretty much show what the aliens look like halfway through the movie. It's not really a big deal, and that's not horror or anything. But
the reveal wasn't important. It was the way they spoke was the big deal. It's how they communicate with them.
Yeah, and so this whole mystery of what the alien looks like. I think this was probably, and this is complete opinion. It's not right or wrong, but this is just the way I felt. I felt in cinematography, this was the last great monster reveal. I haven't really seen a movie since then that it was such a big deal what the monster or the alien actually looked like. And I'm sure that there are instances of it, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Diction will probably.
There's one movie, I think it's on Netflix, called I'm Not a Serial Killer, and it's got a really good reveal at the end. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but seriously, watch it. It's really good. It's creepy.
I mean, do you count Paranormal Activity type of films? I mean, not the first one, but some of the latter ones.
The entity was never a physical thing. It was a demon, right? Yeah, I recently rewatched that. It's a demon.
I mean, there's multiple ones
on our plane of existence.
Yeah, I mean, the first.
I guess I'm kind of going more.
It depreciates in quality.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
It depreciates big
time. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I guess I'm talking more monsters or aliens. I guess just not necessarily super. I mean, those are supernatural in some cases, but I don't mean not extraterrestrials. I don't mean spirits or ghosts, that kind of thing. I guess it does fall in kind of the same line, but back in the day with Predator, or Alien, this buildup of the show
Jaws
of the
too.
Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jaws kind of started it all, and it was all because the shark didn't fucking work. There's a whole documentary about it. How their mechanical shark didn't work, so they were forced to shoot the fin or ripples. They couldn't shoot too much of the shark because it would look fake until the very end.
Now, the more and more you find out about Jaws, the more and more you're amazed about just the final
it's a masterpiece.
It's just wow.
I can't believe they're trying to reboot that. You can't reboot it.
Please don't reboot Jaws.
Perfect. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, don't. that it can't be good. It's just. Did you see they made some Jaws-like movie recently with Blake Lively? Did you see that?
I did. I actually
did you
liked
see that? I heard it got decent reviews too.
It's good. It's more of a survival movie because she's trapped on this little tiny rock.
You know what I'm talking about?
The sharks circling around her, and she like.
No.
Oh, God, Blake Lively.
It's like 127 hours meets Jaws. Like it's like that's the movie.
It's like Blake Lively in a
stranded on a rock.
Yeah.
There's a dead whale next to her, and she's got nowhere to go because the tide's in. And there's a shark just like fucking circling around her, and she can't obviously swim to shore because it's too far.
Yeah,
it's really good. Like I don't need to see it again, but it was fucking good. Like I was thrilled by it.
The Shallows, I think. The Shallows,
yeah, that's what it's called.
A lot of people were shocked that it was good. It was decent. So
it didn't the trailers made it look like not that great, but then it actually turned out to be like a solid thriller. It's a solid thriller.
That's good. Yeah, and when I first saw the previews, I'm like, oh gosh, I just put Blake Lively in a freaking bikini for 90 minutes. That's like how they're trying to sell this thing. But in the end, the reviews were decent.
Steve said Stranger Things hid the Demogorgon for a while. We didn't see the Demogorgon for a long time.
Oh, that's true too. Yep.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we ended up seeing that like halfway through the series. Like it wasn't like an end reveal.
No, it was like episode
pretty
5.
late,
we
dude.
finally got a close up look at it.
Late. Yeah.
That really was it that far?
Yeah.
It's pretty late.
Well, I mean, how many episodes though? Stranger
I'm not
Things,
sure.
I mean, you saw him kind of coming through the wall some, and kind of like pushing against the wall. You saw little.
Like even in that they showed it pretty. That it wasn't like an end or like even the second to last episode sort of reveal. There's 8 episodes, and if it was on episode 5, I think that's pretty close to mid.
Yeah.
Mid-series reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. It was they did hold off. I'm not saying that they don't hold off anymore. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like that's the focal point. Like that was part of the overall mystery of Stranger Things, but it wasn't like the main. I don't think it was like the main thing is what the monster looked like. I mean, I think this was probably the last great like what does the monster look like movie. Like that was what this whole thing was wrapped around. That was the basis of this fucking movie, was the mystery of what exactly was the monster, what was it doing, what did it look like, all that shit. In Stranger Things, that's definitely part of it, but there's other things going on there. There's God, I love Stranger Things. I can't wait for season 2. Why'd you guys even remind me? I just like to not I like to not think about it so that suddenly it's there, God, fuck this. But anywho, I mean, that can be argued, yeah, and I think that's a good close comparison there.
Somebody mentioned Super 8 in the chat. I haven't seen Super 8.
That's true. Super 8.
Super 8. It seemed like it was in a similar style.
Yeah, and that was J.J. Abrams too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's the same director, so I can see that.
Super 8 was minus the ARG, so it didn't have as much success because of that.
I like Super 8. It felt like an old Spielberg movie from like the 80s.
Oh yeah, okay. I saw it.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but I
thought
amazing.
It was more nostalgia. Like, oh man, this reminds me of seeing E.T. for the first time. Like it's all about the kids and the Goonies too. It's got a lot of the Goonies in there.
It's like what Super 8 is the like wannabe Stranger Things. like it's almost kind of in the same vein and like. But it's like Stranger Things in a lot of ways. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, did it better. But that doesn't make Super 8 a bad movie, in my opinion. But anyways.
Was Cloverfield the original title for this movie?
I want to say no, but I could be wrong. Let's look it up. Cloverfield.
It's an interesting name. And, with all the ARG stuff, I wasn't sure if it was changed at any point.
They didn't have a title.
Yeah, that's kind of what I vaguely
when they revealed
remember.
the teaser trailer. I think it was all part of the ARG, and so people just kept saying Cloverfield. Cloverfield's like, fuck it, we'll call it Cloverfield. And they put that little stamp at the beginning that's like designated something.
Okay, so it looks like I think somebody threw out the idea of calling it Gray Shot, which would have been equally
Gray Shot.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, Cloverfield was the original. Cloverfield, that's 2 words, was the original name that I think J.J. Abrams was intending, and then there was gray shot that was proposed, but then that was shot down. They just went with Cloverfield as a single name, which
it's interesting because if you go on the Wikipedia, it says that the article is about 2008 film for the airport formerly named Cloverfield, Santa Monica Airport. It says though for the film franchise, see Cloverfield franchise, blah 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 blah. It talks about it. It's the first film in the Cloverfield franchise, which makes me sort of confused. Like, what is the actual franchise there? I guess Cloverfield Lane. It says that it shares a common universe, but also that it's an upcoming film, 2017 film called God Particle.
Yeah,
is part of it too.
Ooh, God Particle is a good title.
That's a good title, but they're gonna call it something with Cloverfield in it now because it wasn't originally supposed to be linked to it. Like 10 Cloverfield Lane on it was not. They reshot that ending to give it more of a sci-fi feel. And then
I hate that.
They shoehorned it into Cloverfield. It was still good. I prefer 10 Cloverfield Lane to this one, like by far. It's I
still haven't seen that one either. Originally, that's
amazing. Dude, fucking John Goodman is just captivating. He is absolutely captivating in it. He's so good.
But I thought it was all right. I didn't like the ending very much, but we could probably.
The ending was a little fan servicey. I agree, but everything leading up to it is just like awesome. It's so fucking good.
Well, I mean, according to the Wikipedia, God Particle is going to be the third installment in the Cloverfield franchise, which means Cloverfield Lane, and then God Particle, which is very strange to me because Cloverfield Lane, it's still not clear to me if that's like an actual common ground movie. Like, it clearly was different. Like it's really confusing because people say that it's like, it shares a common universe with it. Then other people say no, they just use the name for marketing. Then like you get all these different theories with it. I wish we had like a concrete what exactly it fucking is, because Wikipedia is saying this is going to be the third installment of the Cloverfield franchise.
Said, I'm pretty sure they went on record saying that like it's not intrinsically linked, it's thematically linked. So it's not actually like it doesn't share the same universe; it shares the same themes. So it's kind of like an anthology movie, like VHS or something, where they're different stories, but they're linked together by a common thread.
I don't know.
So man. It's not actually in the same universe, because how could it be if that? I'm pretty sure the beginning takes place in New York. I think, like she drives out of New York to go to the countryside.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I mean, they could explain that. I mean, one could have happened at this point, and one could have happened at a different point. That kind of thing. But I mean, that would be such a weird. Yeah. It's interesting that it calls it the third installment, and then this one, and then this God Particle is supposed to be like a team of astronauts on a space station find themselves alone after a scientific experiment causes Earth to disappear. Like that's. Like what?
That's
the fuck
cool.
I mean, it sounds cool, but why does it have to be Cloverfield? Like at this point,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why does it? It's almost like they're like shoehorning it in. Like you said, like, oh, it's like people like Cloverfield. Let's do it. See, and here's the thing: is that when I first watched Cloverfield, the original movie, the one we were reviewing, I thought, what a great grounds for a sequel. Like a lot of people didn't want a sequel, but I wanted a sequel, like almost like an Aliens franchise where. Alien started out and it was more of a survival horror film, right? On a space station, whatever. Then the second movie was more of an action, like it was more of an action film. It was in the same vein, but it kind of morphed from survival horror, which still had those elements in it, to more of the Bill Paxton, game over, man, like the fucking turret setup, and so I thought it would be really cool if in this in the first iteration of this franchise they had the camera and just some guy in the streets, and that's really all you knew is what they knew and what you could decipher from the military splash screens. But then the next movie could be an action movie. Like the next movie could be how they have, how the Earth has been ravaged by this thing. They still haven't stopped it. Resistance groups, some governments have fallen, like that kind of thing. Like, maybe even America drops as the superpower because of this. And it's the other countries trying to decide how they're going to deal with this menace on the Earth. While it may not be affecting them yet, eventually, it may end up over there. So it's a threat you have to deal with. Stuff like that. I really thought it would be interesting to see a second movie still in the same universe dealing with the same monster or the same species of monster and see exactly how they develop that. That always excited me because that would have been like unprecedented.
Cool. Yeah,
it would have been unprecedented in the way that film is done, because nobody starts a first movie out in that kind of format with the hand camera.
Was this intended before the success of it? I feel like this is a decision that you make, like putting business cap on. Oh man, this got so much hype. It did so well. Why don't we just create an umbrella called, Cloverfield? So, we have this bit of guaranteed success for the next one. But artistically, I feel like it's completely forced. This is a business decision.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so weird about it is that, like, I think they could have just, stuck to their guns, stuck in the same universe, done what Alien did,
sure,
and been very successful, I feel like. But it's like this weird, and this is another reason why I wanted to cover this, because it's kind of sort of an anomaly in that regard. Like, it's kind of a weird, they call it a franchise, like this shoehorned, like for the dollar franchise shoved into this one movie with a guy with a video camera that got acclaimed just because it was, a little bit different at the time. Like, it's a very weird set, and it's a very weird formula for success and for even just movies in general. It's like a very interesting case just to look at and go, wow, like that's fucking weird. It's just weird. And you could tell that, money, the money was the forefront of all this, which is weird too, because J.J. Abrams usually, he makes a shit ton of money, obviously, but his love of film, and nobody can doubt his love of film and cinematography and how much he loves to direct and his ideas, like he really cares about the projects that he gets into, but it's like he cared about this one project, then he left. And then, like, a bunch of other people wanted to keep making money off of it, so they just shoehorned in these extra movies into the franchise. It's weird. It's weird. It is
totally weird. Hey, so we got a caller, and
cool.
Actually, we got a couple callers. The Aura King is one of them, and if you guys want to call in, come and hang out in the general channel on my Discord, and Monkey Overlord is there to help you get set up to call in. But our friend the Aura King, as always, is joining us again. What's up, buddy?
Our fourth unofficial member of the podcast.
I am back.
You're back.
It's all Ringo.
Right. It's Ringo. Oh,
I can't tell if you're offending me or not.
No. It's great. No. It's great. It's a Beatles reference. It's great to have you on the show. Always, man.
No, thanks. It's something you guys were mentioning earlier, like the type of movie. I'm like, it came to me like, what makes a good monster movie? There's so many monster movies like that have been made, yet they just fall flat.
That's true too. Like, out of all the monster or alien movies that have been released, it's really only, like a handful out of those that I think really are successful or really grab people and captivate them. But I think most of that is due to budget, though. Because I think a lot of people love these type of movies, and then people have dreams and aspirations to create those movies, but they may not have the budget to create those movies. So you get a lot of stuff that can break immersion very easily just by the special effect or lack of special effects. But I think probably talk on it more.
I can think of one major reason. Okay, that they're connected: Cloverfield, Pacific Rim, and the new Godzilla. Everything that was bad about those movies were the human characters. The monsters were fine, and they were cool, and they showed just enough of them. But the characters were stupid. They had terrible dialogue. They were there was no empathy, and they're our eye line in this whole universe, right? They're the perspective we take to view the destruction. So we should give a shit about whether they live or die, and I never gave a shit about them. Whereas in Monsters, which would be a really good movie to talk about, which speaking of budget, that was made for like $15,000, and the dude, it's Gareth Evans. He did Rogue One and Godzilla the remake. He made it for $15,000 in Mexico, and he did all the special effects by himself on like a Macintosh. They look really fucking good. But it's all about the characters, the two main characters who are like this fish out of water, like a couple kind of that are getting to know each other as they're trying to get out of Mexico, where it's infected with these aliens that had landed years ago, and it's all about their relationship and them bonding in this like really fucked up situation, and it's believable. Well, they're married in real life, so their chemistry is real, but like that made for a good giant monster movie because the characters we were watching for most of it were empathetic and we could care about them and we gave a shit about whether they lived or died. So that's my biggest thing with a monster movie. Is like the monster can look as amazing as you can, realistic as you want, but if the characters that we're following are stupid and pointless and like you don't care about them, then the movie falls apart essentially.
For me, it's also about putting the story in a dome, right? And by that I mean that I find that a lot of the horror movies or like monster movies, alien movies and stuff like that, I have a hard time connecting with them because most of the time it seems so unrealistic, like the choices and the things that they do in the sake of making an interesting film. So where like we were talking today, like Chan had a hard time with the fact that the building had fallen over and he was going to go up and into the building and save the girl and all that stuff. That's very cinematic, right? You need those moments in the movie, but to come about them naturally in such a crazy time is difficult. So what I found is my favorite ones put them in a dome, right? They put them in a restricted field of play, so to speak. So like if you look at Alien, they're on a spaceship. There's nowhere to go. There's no, you know, and so the escaping part of it, the running, all the things that we may do is gone. They're trying to survive. Or if you think like my favorite horror movie ever, which arguably isn't even a horror movie, Cabin in the Woods, right? Like Cabin in the Woods puts them in a dome. Like it doesn't allow them to escape. It gives them this thing. So they have to make these decisions based on this restricted area. So I think that makes it more compelling because I find in a lot of times when I watch these monster movies or these things, I'm like, why didn't they just do this? Or why didn't they just, I wouldn't have done that. That's weird. You know, like it's the immersion, I think, that connects to the human characters, which goes back to diction. Then those characters have to be interesting characters, but they also have to be making decisions that seem rational and realistic, which is difficult to do while kind of leaving like an open field of play. That's just one point in my opinion.
Especially in this style too. The style that Cloverfield was shot was supposed to be in a reality-based way, you know, given that it's cameras. So it added even more to just what you were talking about there, Ellohime. It has to be as realistic as possible in my mind. And the fact that it wasn't in a dome situation, it just called for a lot of different things to question. I mean, they were a little bit because it was an island. They did create parameters. They did create parameters in that way, but the building for me is just like it just seems made for movie, and it shouldn't be that type of thing. I can accept that in a different type of blockbuster-like film, but this one is not supposed to be like that. So it was harder for me to swallow.
Yeah, and I think mystery is definitely part of it too.
Yeah,
you know, like the mystery of having a compelling, interesting monster. I mean, if you look at again Aliens or Predator, you know, these are monsters that have developed, and we've learned more and more and more about them as the years have gone by. It's no longer just some thing out in the woods that's trying to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's they have a planet and they're actually in a big conflict with the aliens and stuff. That all came later, and mostly for money, but you know what I'm saying? Like I think the mystery behind some of these creatures is just as interesting as the films themselves, which again I think Cloverfield, I think Clovey is an interesting topic of discussion because what is it, where does it come from, why does it have parasites, did it survive, did it not survive, what else can it do? We haven't even seen, like maybe there's things that we don't even fucking know. It could spit acid or some shit, it
looks like it could spit acid. I'd believe it.
also vaginas. You have to scare people with vaginas. That's why
vaginas and phallic imagery. Phallic
imagery and vagina. Yep.
I'd be scared if it was a penis. So you could go the other route. Just mix it up, and instead of having a face that's a vagina, have a face that's a penis.
Have you ever read about the idea behind the face hugger and its design and everything? They thought, they sat down in a room. Seriously, the writer sat down in the room. They said, what is the scariest fucking thing that you can think of? And they were like, a fucking vagina that attaches to your face and then spits something, impregnates you in your fucking mouth. Like it is so many different connotations. Wow. For comfort. They really did. Like this was, It was designed after that, like a vagina that impregnates you in your face. Like That's what they thought was like the scariest fucking thing. So they built it, and it was widely successful because there's all these like little subconscious tics we have that like
brilliant. Yeah, totally.
Brilliant.
All right, well, we got a few more callers, but working, man. Thanks for calling
thanks
in.
for having me, guys.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on all the time.
All right, we've got Team Louie next. Let me just make sure he's ready to go, so I don't have to like surprise him all of a sudden.
Just pull him in here.
Okay, here we go.
Yank him in.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, just put him on the spot.
Louie, what's up, man? You there?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good.
What's up, Louie?
Hey, what's going on, Ello? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll see you in what, 3 days? 3 days?
Yes. Sunday night.
Honestly, I'm gonna plug something real quick. We're doing a Masterpiece Theater where we're doing the Breakfast Club, and it's me and Jeff Leach and Sour Kool-Aid Show. If you guys know Dan Paul from that, Benny Fitz, which is the puppet streamer. Call it Cthulhu, I believe, is on there, or Cthulhu. There's like a bunch of us, and we're all gonna be reading parts. I'm Molly Ringwald's character. And as we go through it, we're for charity, this is all for St. Jude. As people donate, we spin a wheel and it changes the way we read the script.
Oh, that's cool. That's fun. That sounds
and Louis is actually heading that up. So you guys might want to check that out on the 30th. He can probably tell you more, but I totally stole his thunder and started selling out.
No, you're the star here, Ello. I'm just a caller.
I hate being called. I'm a dude, man. I'm a dude. I'm not a star.
I'm a dude.
Ello, you are a celebrity, and you will be treated as such.
Hey, everyone. My name's Ellohime.
All right, Louis, you have a question or anything you want to add to the Cloverfield discussion?
Well, a couple of things. I didn't actually hear you guys talk about kind of a little bit about the marketing behind the movie. The viral marketing. This is at least one of the first movies that I can think of that really utilized social media and YouTube and different things like that to really promote the movie with a lot of their viral marketing. Like they had a website for Slusho that didn't tell you any information about the movie. They had another website that was just like snapshots from the party that they were having.
They actually did that with the Blair Witch Project. Actually kind of created that marketing strategy because they didn't have a budget for like TV spots and interviews and stuff like that. So they bought a domain, they created a website, and they made a narrative that it suggested that it was real,
right? With
like all these fucking like dossiers and police reports and missing person posters. So like that's how the word spread about the Blair Witch, and then the reviews came out and people liked it, and then after that, then people wanted them on their shows, talk about it and stuff like that.
Right.
But,
and I did forget about
the exact same thing with Cloverfield. There's like, let's create a mystery on the internet and let the fans dissect it and spread it around, and it totally worked.
Oh yeah, I was one of the people who got totally sucked into it. I went to all the websites and I tried to to click on the random things, and I followed the message boards and was telling everybody about it on the message boards that I went to that weren't affiliated with the movie. So I was one of those guys that bought into it hook, line, and sinker, and I was there night one, first showing whenever it debuted.
It's super smart, and.
Yeah,
ARG is just,
and it's hard to pull off because like this day and age with the internet and just like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 isn't even out and they've already released the track list of all the songs. Like, why the fuck would you do that?
I know.
Like half the fun of that movie is the way the music blends with the narrative and the scenes, and it's like, why would you ruin that? Like
it's a less is more mentality, right? In this kind of marketing. Mm-hmm. Where it's feed them as little as possible, therefore building interest, right? Yeah. Because we're only interested in the things we don't know. And that's one thing I don't like about movies these days. I feel like the trailers show too much. Like, I feel like the trailers show too much, tell too much. You can watch a trailer, and for the most part, most movies, you can get a good idea of like what it is, which is what you should, when it comes to this. But when it comes to movies, but when you have like a thriller movie, in a lot of ways, less is more. And there's another part of this that we haven't really touched on yet that I think we're maybe forgetting or whatever, but is that the internet is a new thing, like the internet
9
is,
years ago,
compare, like 9 years ago. I mean, the internet was there and we were all using
Twitter
it.
Wasn't nearly as big as it is now.
Twitter wasn't as big. Social media wasn't as big. And these companies, these movie companies that have been doing things the same way for years and years and years and years, there's suddenly a whole new playground of marketing ideas to mess around with the internet, right? And this was just one iteration of that. And they've done other things like think of how movies might be marketed in the future. Maybe they just come on a screen and they just say a few fucking words, and then you're Contrina or whatever the fuck it is. What's the little voice thing? The voice thing you're talking, you say so and so. Tell me about
Siri.
this or whatever.
Alexa,
Siri or Alexa.
Alexa,
Like Alexa gives you hints to what it is and stuff like that. Did you guys see that like Burger King commercial? Where the guy came on, he goes, what? All the commercials just this. He's like, watch this, and he's like, he goes like, Alexa, what is in a Whopper sandwich? And then like Alexa, everybody's and people got pissed about that, right? Because they didn't like the fact that it was almost like invading their homes and telling their Alexa what to do. And then Alexa would go, they have a premium beef patty that, blah, 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 with, this lettuce and everything. So it was like a marketing.
And she never mentions that it's grade D meat, like.
Yeah. But people got pissed about that. But the point is, full circle, is that there's new marketing techniques as technology advances, not just the internet, but technology in general. It gives it's a different playing field. It's a whole playground for people to get their ideas out there in many different ways. And this was just one of the earlier ways that people got the idea of their movie out there.
It still works. I mean, it's definitely not as unique anymore, but it still works. We saw it with Overwatch, with even the ARG for Sombra, and they showed us how to start off doing it right, and then mistakes of an ARG, which is you can't let it go on for too long. Like ARGs are limited to the number of clues that you should give, and then you have to reveal the thing after a certain point.
I just love the fact that I'm attributed on the Wikipedia for that shit. Like
are
the first steps. Yeah, the first steps of the mystery of that. Yeah, because in my first broadcast that I did with, they let me come out and stream the game first.
I remember that.
I called out Sombra, like the classified file on the desk, and talked about it a little bit.
Oh,
that was like the first person, and that's what kind of started that. So I'm on there. I'm like, oh, giddy whenever we talk about Sombra. I'm like,
well, question: Do you guys remember the first trailer for Cloverfield whenever it first debuted in theaters?
Yeah, I forget what movie I was seeing.
I remember it,
but it was just right there. This weird teaser with no title, just the date.
Yeah, like the date. Yep.
It was when they were in the street.
I remember the audience. I remember
street,
after
right?
after it ended, the audience was like looking around, like, "What the fuck did we just see?" And I was like, "Oh, this is good. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm on board."
And they actually filmed that trailer before they filmed any of the movie. They filmed that trailer, put it up, and then they went back and reshot all of that for the movie.
Yeah, I remember like the end of that. The dude says it's alive, but the audio is bad, so it sounded like he said it's a lion, and it spawned a whole meme with like T-shirts and shit,
and
just like a giant
good.
lion.
That's actually a great thing to happen, when stuff.
That was like one of those happy mistakes.
Yeah,
happy
absolutely. Accidents. And I think some people have problems when trailers don't, some trailers actually have cuts from the movie before it's edited, right? And people sometimes have problems with that. I actually don't have a problem with that at all. Like,
do you remember the Mummy trailer that leaked, the IMAX trailer that didn't have the audio right, and it was all the like background sound effects that are clearly made with like a Moog, or like you have the sound effects that you use in a movie before it's got the final cut,
Right.
And now every time I see that trailer, all I hear are those fucking like just those sound effects. Like I can't hear anything else.
Okay. Well, Louis, thanks for the question, buddy.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Good to see you, man.
Okay. You too, man.
I think we might have one more. Let me see. Let me ask Monkey. Yeah, we have a lot today. So this was supposed to be a short show, by the way, guys. We're like going into it. There's not that much to talk about. Cloverfield,
it's kind of different because it's interesting because, and I knew it would probably end up like this, which is kind of why we
always can talk.
This film.
Yeah.
It's only just that, but just the implications of the film is sometimes more fun to talk about than the actual film itself. Mm-hmm. And we have talked about the film itself, which is
totally.
Yeah, but a lot of our half of our conversation has been about outside shit, like things surrounding it or things about it. It just makes it super interesting. I love this like kind of like free form where we don't necessarily have to stay like on the movie. We can, explore other ideas and other things just in, cinematography.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I don't think the Elder's responding, so why don't we jump into what we're doing next week? So next week, guys, I've succumbed. I've given in to the request of these two guys, and we will be doing The Room, finally, which was supposed to be, or they wanted us to debut, spoiler alert, with The Room. And I
suggested that being the first episode.
Yes, and I
still
protested.
stand by it as being the best idea.
So we are doing The Room, and it's a classic. I still haven't seen it, by the way, so
this is gonna be good. I want to hear. Every time I talk about this movie with people, they've seen it a bunch of times, so we all have the same things to say about it. So it'd be cool to like hear an opinion from fresh eyes, you know.
Hey Chan, if you want like extra credit, okay, or if any of you guys want extra credit, okay, when you guys go and watch this, watch The Room, and then once you're done watching it, watch it with riff tracks.
Yeah,
it is the best. It's just like Mystery Science.
If you're lucky and there's a midnight showing near you, like they usually have it on Friday or Saturday nights, go to that. Like, seriously, it's the most fun you'll have at a movie theater like ever. It's fucking
since Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, it's
exactly
our generation's Rocky Horror Picture Show is what it is. In my opinion, somebody might say differently, but that's what I see. You know, when you have that interactive, when you have that interactive theater where things are happening on screen, and then the audience is doing, you know, stuff,
throwing spoons at the screen, and they all know the shout outs, you know, like it's so
good. Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you get a chance to watch Riff Tracks, which is just a reiteration, like a modern iteration of Mystery Science Theater 3000. So if you get a chance to watch that as well as the actual movie, holy shit, that is fucking hilarious. But I'm excited for this one because it's not even just that it's almost like the film we just saw. It's almost like a case study. Like it's a good cinematography, like case study,
right?
Like it just like an anomaly, and it's interesting. The evolution of it is interesting. Like everything surrounding it is interesting. Like it's great. So I'm really excited.
Something that the Sci-Fi Channel's desperately been trying to ape for a decade now, or 15 years now. Like with Sharknado and shit, it's like, dude, it doesn't work if you know your movie sucks.
Well, Sharknado did pretty well, surprisingly.
It did, but people didn't. People are stupid, man. Like if they clearly know they're making a bad movie, that takes away all the fun of making fun of it. Because it's not. Yeah, it can't be self-aware. It's got to be an accident, you know.
So how much? What was the budget for The Room again? It's something ridiculously
$6 million.
Oh, what? It was $6 million.
$6 million.
I thought it was like
all from Tommy
Wiseau. Nope. I knew it came from Tommy, but I didn't realize. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was like 60,000 or something like that.
He kept telling people there were producers on the film, and every time people would ask him questions, like, "Well, the producers don't want us to do that. It was all him. There were no producers. It was him alone."
All right, save the conversation for the.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week, guys. But it should be a good one. It should be a fun one. All right, well, why don't we wrap up? It's been nice. It's been pretty long, actually. We've been a minute 45 here, so yeah, good stuff. Diction, want to do some shout-outs? Where can people find you?
Yo, I'm Eat My Diction 1 on pretty much all forms of social media, twitch.tv/eatmydiction1. I will be streaming later today, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be playing Little Nightmares, which looks really fucking cool.
What kind of game is that?
It looks like a little bit kind of like Limbo and Inside, you know, it's like sort of a side scroller, with really weird, just look at screenshots of some of the enemies. They're horrifying. They're disgusting. But yeah, you're like this little girl in a raincoat on this underwater like capsule called the Maw, and you're trying to escape, and there's these giant deformed people that are like trying to get you. So it's like you got to hide from them, but you always know where they are. It's not like Outlast where you're like first person. It's like you can always see them on your screen. It's just you got to
maneuver around them. Okay.
That's cool. It looks really cool.
The real question is, do they all have vagina faces that can bug you and destroy you? Okay. All right.
No vagina
Not that scary.
But they're really gross. They're all really creepy.
Okay. Hello. Any shout outs? Where can people find you?
People can find me here. This is my main channel. All my social media links are here on the channel. Unfortunately, this morning I was hoping to play some Prey, but on the PS4 apparently there were some problems with it. So we're gonna play it tomorrow. It's just a demo. It's only gonna be like an hour. I think we're also gonna do some PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So we're gonna check out Prey, do PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. On the 30th, like I talked about, we've got our Centerpiece Theater that's coming up where I'm going to be playing Molly Ringwald in a script reading of The Breakfast Club. There's going to be Sour Kool-Aid show. Dan Paul, if you guys know him, Jeff Leach, which is an incredibly hilarious individual. Benny Fitz, just a whole cast of people. You guys can check out more of it. And Team Louis is actually heading it up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's all going to be for St. Jude for charity. So if you donate, we spin like a wheel and it can change the way that we'll be reading the script as our characters, whatever. And then let's say we spin the wheel and everybody has to talk like Jamaicans for 3 pages, something like that. Yeah. Or we try to, we have to try to do whatever. Anyways, you guys get it. So I don't want to reveal too much. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing that. Also, what else is coming up? On May 2nd, I'm going to be flying out to Montreal, which was the original. I was supposed to leave last week. Watch Dogs 2 pushed it to this next week. So May 2nd, I'm going to be flying out. I'm actually flying out on the 1st. I'm going to be there May 2nd. I'm flying back early in the morning on May 3rd. So I'm going to be doing a Watch Dogs 2 stream, which is going to be a lot of fun in Montreal with the developers. So that's going to be cool.
Wow.
Other than that, I think that everything's pretty much business as usual. So, Chairman, what's going on with you, man? Tell us where we can find you.
You can find all of my shows, or at least the ones I do on my channel live at twitch.tv/ShamMV, and all the VODs, which I'd recommend people to go watch, just so you can find time whenever you want to watch the shows, including, spoiler alert, at youtube.com/ShamMV. And Twitter is the same thing, ShamMV. So check those out. I do shows in the Hearthstone and Overwatch space too, as well as game show, and soon to be a lot more communities, but in Hearthstone and Overwatch right now, called Streamer Showdown. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. So for Eat My Diction, Ellohime, and myself, ShamMV, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Later.
See ya.